Good morning. Please remain seated as we welcome the official party to the stage. Good morning, Mr. Miller, members of the college leadership team, members of the Morris Brothers community, staff, students and parents. We especially welcome Mr. Chris Patterson, State Member for Camden, and also extend a warm welcome to our 2017 Year 12 students who have achieved excellent individual results. We also welcome parents and family members who are able to be with us today. Please stand and join in as we sing the national anthem. Please be seated. To lead us in the welcome to country and prayer, I welcome Lachlan, David and Mitch.
We pause to remember the uniqueness of this place. We honour and respect the generations of the Thurrowa people who held this land in their dreaming.
Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Our candle is lit as a symbol of his presence with us."
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. God of hope, we come together today to give thanks for the gifts of the higher achievers of 2017. Through their hard work and commitment, these gifts have resulted in great academic success. May they continue to use these gifts, measuring their success not by the riches, but by the joy that comes from using one's gift in serving others. As they plan for their futures, may they be seekers of justice and work in praise for the glory of God and the building of his kingdom. St. Martin Champagne, Mary our Good Mother, and let us always remember. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
purpose of our assembly today is to celebrate as a community the efforts of those students who have performed well in their higher school certificate in 2017. We will also be recognising excellence in specific subject areas, as well as students achieving an ATAR of over 90. To announce the students and their excellent achievements, I invite the Year 12 Coordinator for 2017, Mr. Patrick Newell, to come forward.
Thank you, Aidan. Mr. Miller, Mr. Patterson, parents, staff, students, and our newest old boys. It is my great pleasure to present to you this morning the men of the class of 2017 who have achieved at the highest level in the higher school certificate. As the year coordinator, I was extremely privileged to witness the consistent, determined approach that this group produced throughout their HSC journey. In my opinion, their collaborative approach to study and their willingness to encourage each other to achieve their best was a telling factor in the individual success from within this cohort. It could be said that they didn't allow personal success to dictate what they as a group could ultimately achieve. Early in 2017, every young man was encouraged to take up a challenge. It was suggested that regardless of overall ability, each student should strive to achieve a Band 6 in their strongest subject. This is a challenge that our current senior grades could seriously consider in order to maximise their results, ultimately leading them to the position that our high achievers are in today. Whilst the focus of today is on this group of young men before us, I wish to acknowledge those within the cohort who knew that their capabilities would most likely lead to them not being present with us today. Most of them have fulfilled their HSC goal and have now accepted apprenticeships, traineeships, or are about to commence TAFE courses of their choosing. In their absence, I congratulate these former students. To very briefly explain the term Band 6, that is where a student has achieved a HSC mark of over 90 for a 2-unit subject or a 45 out of 50 for a 1-unit subject. At this time, I'm honoured to present to you the following high achievers for 2017. Riley Alcorn received a Band 6 in Mathematics General 2. Kyle Burkout, Mathematics Extension 1. Connor Doherty, Mathematics. Adam Fitzpatrick, a Band 6 in Primary Industries. In his absence, Dylan Lamaro, Mathematics General 2. Court Langford, for Business Studies. Kurt Mills, Band 6 in Mathematics. David Newen, Mathematics Extension 1. Jack Nixon, Business Studies. Samuel Price, Band 6 in Industrial Technology Timber. Declan Ryan, Mathematics. Joseph Stewart, Senior Science. Dylan Bordignon, Band 6 in Business Studies and Mathematics General 2. Dominic Payne, Software Design and Development and Visual Arts. Robert Wakaba for Mathematics General 2 and Personal Development, Health and Physical Education. Would you please join me in congratulating these young men? Our next recipient is Joseph Andriotti, Band 6s in Business Studies, Personal Development, Health and Physical Education and Studies of Religion 1 Unit. Nicholas Jong, Chemistry, English Advanced and Physics. Tanmay Kulkarni, Band 6 in English Advanced, English Extension 1 and Legal Studies. Tane Martin, Business Studies, Legal Studies and Studies of Religion 1. Joel Fincher, Band 6 in Business Studies, Mathematics, Mathematics Extension 1 and Studies of Religion 1. Vincent Rezachuk, Geography, Mathematics General 2, Personal Development, Health and Physical Education, Studies of Religion 1. Daniel Lowe, Band 6 in English Advanced, Mathematics Extension 1, Software Design and Development and Studies of Religion 1. Lachlan O'Neill, Economics, Mathematics, Mathematics Extension 1 and Studies of Religion 2 Unit. Rohan Indap, Band 6s in Economics, English Advanced, Legal Studies, Mathematics and Studies of Religion 2. Derek Comban, Band 6 in Chemistry, Economics, English Advanced, Mathematics Extensions 2 and Studies of Religion 1. And Sean Mabin, Band 6s in English Advanced, English Extension 1, Legal Studies, Mathematics, Modern History, Physics, Studies of Religion 1. Please. As these gentlemen exit the stage, please give all of our award winners one more round of applause. Thank you. At this point in time, we would like to acknowledge the achievements of one young man prior to getting into our 16 that received ATARs over 90. It's a massive achievement for a person to achieve what this man has done in the last year and a half or so. And to be state ranked is something very special, and we honour that each year that this occurs. And it doesn't always happen, but on this occasion, I'd like to invite Rohan Indap to come forward, as Rohan finished 15th in the state in the subject of legal studies. And while congratulating Rohan, it's also important to acknowledge the efforts of his teacher, Mrs. Stephen Bullock. So congratulations to both of those two gentlemen. Moving on now to our high achievers, those who have attained a ATAR of over 90, a wonderful achievement, and these 16 boys certainly deserve this. I would say that there's any number of boys who were very, very unlucky not to have joined this group, and thankfully, having scored band 6 in most of the subjects, they are here. But you were very, very close, gents, so well done and congratulations to you that just missed out. But our first over 90 ATAR is Joseph Andriotti. Joseph scored an ATAR of 90.30 and will be studying a Bachelor of Construction Management at the University of Western Sydney. David Newen, an ATAR of 90.45. David has chosen to study a Bachelor of Engineering Honours and a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics at the University of New South Wales. Robert Wakaba. Robert received an ATAR of 90.63 and at this stage is undecided where to pursue his studies. Dominic Payne, an ATAR of 91.05. Dominic will be doing a Bachelor of Science in Games Development at the University of Technology, Sydney. Dylan Bordignon, ATAR of 91.25. Dylan will be studying Architecture and Environments at Sydney University. Tanmay Kulkarni, ATAR of 94.25. Tanmay will be doing a Bachelor of Environment combined with Law at Macquarie University. Joel Fincher, ATAR of 94.35. Joel will be doing a Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering at Sydney University. Ryan Fitzpatrick, an ATAR of 94.95. Bachelor of Engineering and a Master's in Biomedical Engineering at the University of New South Wales. Vincent Rezchuk, an ATAR of 94.95, Bachelor of Law and a Bachelor of Construction Management at Western Sydney University. Kyle Burkout received an ATAR of 95.90. Kyle will be studying a Bachelor of Engineering Honours in Mechatronics at the University of New South Wales. Lachlan O'Neill, an ATAR of 96.45. Lachlan will be studying a Bachelor of Science and Medical Science at Sydney University. Daniel Lowe, an ATAR of 97.05. Daniel will be studying a Bachelor of Health Science at the Australian National University in Canberra. Nicholas Jong, an ATAR of 97.6 and has chosen to study a Bachelor of Engineering Honours and Bachelor of Commerce at the University of New South Wales. Rohan Indap, an ATAR of 99. Rohan will be doing a Bachelor of Law and Commerce at the University of New South Wales. Sean Mabin, an ATAR of 99.15. Sean will be studying Bachelor of Arts Law at the University of New South Wales. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present to you the Dux of our school for 2017, Derek Comban, with an ATAR of 99.65. Congratulations once again, gentlemen, and Derek, I'd ask you to head over this way, please.
Good morning, Mr. Miller, special guests, family and friends, staff, students, and fellow high achievers. Standing up here seems surreal. I never thought it would be me delivering this speech. It was only until the end of year 11 when a few of my mates and Mr. Bullock said it could be a possibility. And for that, I thank you guys for giving me the encouragement to work harder. I'd like to take this moment to congratulate all the high achievers and for the hard work that they put in this past year. We should all be immensely proud of ourselves. Year 12 was not easy by any means. The sleepless nights, the headaches, the pressure, the frustration, the time spent on the ATAR calculator. The list goes on. One piece of advice that stuck with me throughout high school was from Dean Boucher in his 2013 Dux speech. He said something along the lines of, "Don't be the kid at the back of the class, daydreaming and slouched in his seat. You gotta sit up and pay attention." Something like that. From that week, I attended classes with that mindset, most of the time. 5 months ago, when I was studying for the HSC exams, I would think to myself, what would I say in this speech if I did, hypothetically, get Dux? The main thing that came to mind was lots of appreciation for the people that helped me over the years, and made me who I am today. To all the year groups, help each other out whenever you can. There is no way I would have got the ATAR that I got without the help of my friends. We were always there to help each other. If a mate was stuck, no one hesitated. Someone always came to help, whether it was inside or outside the classroom. When it came to study notes, I'd like to thank my friends for sending notes when I needed it the most during times of extreme angst. The teachers at the school are amazing and will go above and beyond to help us, so try not to annoy them. I'd like to take this time to acknowledge Miss Keegan, Miss Davison, and all the other teachers I've had over the years. Thank you for making this journey something that I'll never forget. I'd especially like to thank my Year 12 teachers. To Mr. Clark, you always knew how to make the content interesting by chucking on a click view. To Miss Simmons, you told us each lesson that maths is glorious, and that hasn't changed one bit. Thank you for always bringing your knowledge and your bright enthusiasm to class every day. Your cheerfulness really went a long way. To Mrs. Clark, I'm going to really miss those Kahoot and Curly Whirlies. Thank you for your faith and confidence in me throughout the year. Mr. Smith, if there's one thing I'll miss, it would be those PowerPoints. We unfortunately missed out on Thursday sport due to Extension 2, but it was alright because we had your cheesy math jokes. Mr. Baz, we all know how much you didn't like the Labour Party. We were reminded every lesson. You always kept us informed with the recent trends by your famous handouts, and that is something that we appreciate and benefited from a lot. To Ms. Arentz, thank you for replying to the hundreds of emails and essays that I would send you. The time you spent inside and outside class giving feedback on my work is something that I can never repay. Without your hard work, I would never have got that Band 6 in English, which I thought was impossible. I'd like to thank Sarah for helping me brainstorm this speech. I'd also like to thank the group chats for providing me with endless roast, banter, and on the odd occasion, actual HSC help. You all kept me sane throughout the year, even though it was me who got roasted the most. To all my friends, I'm grateful for everything. The memes and roast wheel will forever be cherished. There were plenty of fun memories made during the hundreds of recess and lunches on the very stairs outside this hall. Lastly, to my parents, thank you for supporting me and for always being there for me. Thank you for always believing in me and for going beyond what was needed, for giving me insight into life and for being my biggest motivator. Sharing my successes with both of you is something I'm proud of, and I hope to continue achieving this throughout my life. To my dad, thanks for helping me with maths and forcing me to sit and study like the typical Indian parent. To my mom, thank you for always providing me with food whenever I needed and for always cleaning up the gigantic mess that was my room. Without you, there would be no way anything in our house would stay in order. You're the ones that saw me spiral into despair and misery before exam blocks, and you always lifted me from it. To achieve well, you have to work hard. You have to remain consistent with your studies, and sometimes that means sacrificing some parties and outings along the way. That doesn't mean, however, you should only devote your life to the HSC. Have balance, because remember, Saturdays are for the boys. The HSC is very tough, and it's a lot of hard work. So to the incoming class of 2018, welcome to hell, and enjoy the roller coaster ride as you slowly descend into your inevitable death. To Year 11, don't stress as much this year, as nothing counts. Use this year to learn from your mistakes. To Year 7 to 10, enjoy the stress-free time you have at St. Greg's. Truly treasure it, because once you start Year 12, you're going to wish you were back in Year 7. There'll be times when you'll just want to give up and not even care anymore. You'll procrastinate, you'll binge watch shows, you'll complain, you'll waste time in the kitchen trying to find food even though you aren't hungry. I had many of these moments, 5 times a day to be more exact, but just know you're not in it alone. Some of the work you'll have to do is going to seem pointless and dull, and you're going to think, how will this help me on later in life? Sometimes you just got to force yourself into it. I can't say English was something I enjoyed. I had to sit and do essays, write creatives, analyze plays and poems, memorize quotes. Was it boring? Yes, 100%. But was it necessary to do well in? Definitely. Only when I stopped complaining was when I actually got the work done. The HSC is a challenging year of anyone's life, a year with a lot of ups and downs. My dream course of Commerce and Actuarial Studies at UNSW was something I always wanted to do, and I'm proud to say I got accepted into it. So to sum up, I'll leave you all with a quote. The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it. So work hard, help others, set extraordinary goals, and don't ever give up until the final pens down has been called, because success doesn't happen overnight. It comes with dedication, patience, and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal and Derek, and congratulations to all our high achievers from the class of 2017. I would now like to invite our special guest, Mr. Chris Patterson, State Member for Camden, to address the college. Please welcome Mr. Patterson.
Thank you. Headmaster, Brother Ernest, staff and teachers, family and friends, young men of St Gregory's College, and probably most importantly today, our 2017 HSC High Achievers. Can I sincerely say how wonderful it is to be with you today on what is one of the highlights, Day of Recognition on the St Greg's calendar. So thank you for having me here today. Just before I actually get into the speech, I was just listening to our Dux, who did a tremendous job, I thought, but never one to miss an opportunity. I don't know Mr Baz, but I was quite excited by his disdain for the Labor Party, and I'm always looking for good branch members, so if we could meet up at the end, it'd be much appreciated. But back to why we're actually here, and that is to acknowledge the young men before us that got an ATAR of either 90 or above, or a band 6 in one or more of their subjects last year. Can I say to you, congratulations. Can I also say to you, your school is extremely proud of you. Your family and friends are extremely proud of you. And I'm here today to let you know that the wider community is extremely proud of your achievements. So well done. Anybody that hears the name St Greg's knows what an outstanding school you are sporting. Teams that come here fear playing here, just like they fear playing you when you travel. But today we're here to acknowledge those young men that have achieved academically, that have succeeded within the classroom. And the reason they've succeeded, as our Dux alluded to, probably before hitting Year 12, a little bit in Year 11, but is through hard work, determination, personal sacrifice, and a drive and will to succeed. Just like you see on the sporting field here every day. But these young men have used that determination and drive to succeed in the classroom academically. And I say to each and every young man here today, aspire to be like these young men. Aspire to work as hard as you possibly can to achieve as much as you possibly can academically, just like you aspire to be like the young men in the first 13 or the first 11 cricket or soccer, or on the cross-country team or swim team. Aspire to be like these young men, because what that does is it gives you choices, and life is about choices. These young men before you today have the choice to go to university and pick whatever subject they want. These young men have the choice to have a year off, go overseas, have a great time, knowing their desired course is waiting for them when they return. They have the choice to go to TAFE and get an apprenticeship if they so choose. Or they have the choice to go out into the workforce knowing that future employers will look on them in the highest esteem, knowing that they've worked hard and have achieved. So I say to you, aspire to be like these young men, because choice is empowerment. I'm sure that each and every one of the 28 young men before us today, though, would acknowledge they have not got to where they are today on their own. They would be the first to acknowledge that St Gregory's College has been a major influencing factor in their success. St Gregory's College is held in the highest esteem in our community and is recognised as a major positive contributor to our community. And Headmaster, one of the reasons, I believe the major reason, is your staff and teachers. And I would just like to acknowledge publicly each and every teacher here today for not just helping all of the students be the best they can academically, not just helping all of the students be the best they can on the sporting field, but helping every young man that comes through these gates be the best person in life they possibly can be. So thank you sincerely for your efforts day in, day out. The other people I'm sure these young men will acknowledge, as Derek mentioned, is the family and friends. To each of you that have loved, guided, nurtured, been a typical parent, as Derek indicated, I say thank you for your efforts in ensuring that these young men achieve the best they possibly could achieve. So to the 2017 HSC High Achievers, congratulations. But this is the first part in your journey. You have been academic leaders at St Greg's. You have shone the way, been wonderful examples to those boys sitting behind you in what can be achieved through hard work. But this is just the beginning. I charge each and every one of you to go out and be leaders in whatever your chosen career path is. And I look forward to working with you as leaders in whatever career path you choose. Congratulations. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. For a change of pace, we welcome Sam Gould from Year 11 to the stage to perform You Raise Me Up. Please welcome Sam. Thanks, Sam. What a fantastic performance. I now call forward our Headmaster, Mr. Miller, to deliver his Headmaster's address.
Brother Ernest, Mr. Patterson, parents and friends, staff, gentlemen of the college, and the gentlemen of the class of 2017. Good morning and welcome. Before I start talking, Sam Gould, that was absolutely amazing. To stand up here in front of 1,000 people and do that by yourself and know that everyone is looking at you, and to be able to do it as well as you did, that was very impressive, Sam. And when I think about the title of that song, He Raised Me Up, that's about the parents who are here today, because they're the ones responsible for bringing these young men and the rest of you up. So I congratulate you, Sam. So I'd ask everyone to give him another round of applause. I'd just like to say thank you to Mr. Clark. He has been the mover and shaker behind this morning, and he's organised the whole thing for us. So I'm very appreciative of the work that's gone into that. As we can all see, there was a lot more work involved today because we have many more young men here with us also. I'd also like to thank Mr. Patterson for coming along this morning. I was talking to him out the back, and the last time I think he spoke was at the Catholic Club when we didn't have the hall and run to go in the renovation. And I remember that day I was very impressed with the speech that he did give. But again, the fact that he's taken the time out of his schedule and made St Greg's a priority day, I'm very appreciative of that. And once again, that speech he gave this morning, if we're looking for role models for public speaking, I think we've got one here in Chris. But I'd ask Mitchell Kelly, the college captain, if he'd just make a small presentation to Chris to show our appreciation. I'd ask you to put your hands together once again. To you, gentlemen, I congratulate you on your results, the outstanding effort that you've made. I congratulate you on the way you've presented yourselves this morning. You would have realised when we walked in, everyone stayed seated. I did that for a reason. I've heard some of you tell me over the years how when you sit there back in Year 7 and you look up and you see these young men come on the stage, and your goal and your dream at the time is you want to be up there with them. I remember Luke Grosvenor a couple of years ago saying the same thing. He didn't need to get over 90 to get here for it, but he decided that was his goal because he appreciated the fact of being up here in front of 1,000 people and being so successful. And this morning's no different. And there is an increase. We brought in the Band 6 boys as well, and I did that for a reason. I go back to a time, I think it was 2 years ago, and there was a young man who's here today with us. And a couple of years ago, when he first came to the college, my understanding was he was always going to go back to the farm and he was going to work there. But when we came to Year 10, I remember having a meeting with the parents and Mrs. Dean, and we talked about his subjects. And he wasn't too sure where he was going and what he was doing. But during that time, we had that meeting, we sorted out subjects. He went to university at Armidale, had a look around the place up there, ran into Mr. McGuigan when he was working up there. And he came back after that, sold on the idea that it was important to go to uni and do well. And the fact that, yes, he didn't get an ATAR over 90, but we all realised that not everyone can. But the fact that he came back and he specialised in a subject and he got a Band 6 in that one subject, he didn't do badly in any other subject, he just did very well in that particular subject. And it got him into uni, so he's able to go to Armidale next year. And when I reflected on that story, it made me reflect on other boys who had talents in various areas also. They weren't going to get a Band 6 in every subject, but they might have had a talent in woodwork or music or English or maths. And they worked hard to get that Band 6 in that particular area. And as many of you know, when we look at the major works that we've seen over the last 12 months, they've been brilliant. And we've got a boy who has a Band 6 for that. And I'm not sure what he's going to do, but whether he goes to uni or he goes out and does an apprenticeship, becomes a carpenter and does really well. It's important to acknowledge that. And that's why I wanted you to see it this morning, gentlemen. These gentlemen walking up, presenting themselves so well, and getting you to hope for the future that you'll be walking up that stairwell in a few years' time, whether it's next year or whether it's in 5 years' time. But there's an aim there for you. So, gentlemen, congratulations. The number of boys who got over 90, and you wouldn't realise this, but I averaged those ATARs out over 90, and I've been keeping records since 2008 on it. And your average for that was 95, and that's the highest average ATAR we've had since 2008. So I congratulate you on that. I also would add the fact that when I look at the boys sitting in front of me, they've got band 6s and they've got ATARs, but it wasn't just about that. They've done a lot more. And if you listened last year at the graduation day, and I read out their list of achievements then, it's not a sweatshop just to do maths and English and science. It's about developing the whole person. And the fact that our 399 boys were all part of that state mock trial team that won the championship 2 years ago. And many of the other gentlemen sitting there have been playing various sports and other things as well. And I think that's the message you take away from this morning, that you do have talents. If you work hard with them, you can achieve and do well. And that's why you're sitting here this morning. I congratulate you for that. But also to the support team, those people sitting behind you. You couldn't have done it without them. And the fact that they've turned up today, some have travelled many miles to be here to support you again. But Derek mentioned also the other boys in the class. The fact that they supported each other. They mightn't have got over 90, the others, but the fact that they're here this morning as well and they've come along to support people. I acknowledge them. But Derek or Mr. Newell, someone made the point about other boys. They might have got all band 4s, but that was the best they were going to do. And that's why I keep that spare chair there, because we acknowledge those boys. As they said, they went out, they did a HSC, they did as well as they could, and they're going into apprenticeships or TAFE, but they've done well. And that's why that spare chair's on the end each year for you. When we look at a race in life, if I take an 800-metre race, and you see the people lining up at the start of it, and they're there with their hopes and their dreams that they're going to win the race, and the parents are there watching from the sideline, thinking their son's going to go out there. They might be hoping he wins, but they just want him to do as well as he can. And when the race starts, the boys shoot off, and one boy is jostling another boy for first, second and third, and they're in that mix. One of them falls over and he falls down. Most people would say, well, that's the end of the race, you're not going to do any better. The boy's lying on the ground though, and he looks up into the stand and he can see his father looking at him. And he gets a message by perception or otherwise. It's about getting up and I can catch them because I've got the ability to do it. The boy gets up and he starts off again and he goes faster because he knows he has to pick up those other boys. But when you're doing that, you can actually overstride. And they went around a couple of 100 metres and he did overstride and he fell over again. At that stage, you would think that's the end of it. But he was there, feeling a bit despaired about the whole thing, lying on the ground, looking up to the stand for inspiration from his father. He decided to get up and have another crack at it. And he took off. And as he was coming around into that last lap, he was near the steeplechase pond. Steeplechase pond is a pond of water and you have to go over a hurdle to get through it. Now, people had been through it before and they'd splashed water onto the track, and he slipped on it and he went down for a third time. That would have been the end of it for everyone. But he was lying there thinking he was beaten. But then he got the brain idea of the fact that I can still do my best. And he got up and he heard the boy going over the finish line who came first. people were clapping and cheering. And he thought, well, I've just got to do my best and finish the race as fast as I can. And he came around into that 100-metre stretch and was doing the best he could and pushing himself, struggling, mentally and physically. But all of a sudden he heard the clapping and the cheering, and it was louder than the boy who came first. And he got over that line and people were standing, clapping and applauding him. Why? Because he didn't give up. He kept going, even though many people would have dropped. But he had a goal, he had a hope, and he had a dream. And it was to get over that finish line. And he realised, I had to do the best I could. That's what that empty chair's all about. Doing the best you can. These gentlemen ran the race, and they ran it well. And they went over the finish line to the applause and the claps of the parents and friends, and that's understandable. But the gentlemen on the end also deserve that applause. We spoke the other day, gentlemen, about the attitude, the commitment and the effort. And that's your challenge. Whether you're in Year 7 or you're in Year 11, the challenge is there for you. You can get an 8 over 90. If you don't think you can do it, you can get a band 6 and you can be sitting here. So I applaud you, gentlemen. You're great examples for the rest of them. I thank the parents and friends for being there and supporting them as well and being here today. And I think, as Mr. Patterson said, I congratulate the staff. They're there in the background all the time, supporting and encouraging. But gentlemen, the challenge is over to you. How many of you are going to be sitting here next year, Year 11? And Year 7, how many of you are going to be sitting here in the future?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I now invite everyone to stand as we sing the Sultuum as the official party and high achievers leave the hall.
Thank you, gentlemen. Please be seated. If I could ask firstly our friends and families who are here this morning, we have a morning tea for you now if you're able to stay in the Hermitage room, which is just out the doors to the